All right, you guys, welcome back to Talks with TJ. We're going to jump right into it. This is another news and reviews video. And again, this video is going to be dedicated to Miss Netta. Part 2 to Miss Netta, her recently on the Aunties podcast on the Zeus Network. If you guys don't know, is with Blueface Mom, Rick Ross ex-baby mama, and Tokyo Toni, right? Tokyo Toni is Angela White's or Blac Chyna's mother, right? They all got together on a podcast. They got their own show on Zeus Network. They invited Netta and Charles on this goddamn podcast. And I actually learned some things about, before we jump into the negative, about Netta. Netta had a previous relationship that she was with a man for 20 years, right? That man ended up having some health issues. He ended up having a heart attack and passing away. She talked about her giving up on love, and then one day she eventually jumped on Tag. Tag is a dating site where she met Charles. Her and Charles were talking to each other for a while. I guess they've been, if I'm not mistaken, I guess they've been in a relationship for about 6 or 7 years now, and they just recently got married. But prior to that, she was in a relationship for 20 years. Now, on Charles's end, Charles has had encounters with individuals like Miss Netta, where they may be feminine presenting male. I don't think that she's trans, like I said in the last video. I think we should just bring back the culture of just cross-dressing. I think that's just what she is. And for the sake of this video, I guess I'm going to use she, because I'm using Miss Netta. And I think Charles has dated, like I said before, Charles was dating women like Miss Netta. I think he had maybe like 1 or 2 prior, but other than that, he had girlfriends. So this is one of the things that got a little murky, girl. She said that Charles was straight prior to meeting her, and that she only dates straight men to an extent. And if you got a penis and you putting a wig on, then Charles was never straight. If he was dealing with you, no matter how many women that he dealt with prior to you, baby, he was never straight. He always liked men. Now, does that make him gay? No. I think along the lines that may make him pansexual, because you are, again, she's not transgender. She's just a cross-dresser. So maybe he is pansexual. He's attracted to feminine presenting men. And he talked briefly about that situation beforehand. It got a little messy also with jumping into the mess. It got a little messy with the Blueface mother saying that me and my assistant was DMing you from a second account, Charles, and this, that, and the third. And if you would fuck on Miss Netta, if you would. I'm not sure if that was true or not, or she was just trying to get underneath her goddamn skin. But it pissed Miss Netta off real bad. Miss Netta's talking about I want to know the assistant. Charles got me. I got the password to his goddamn phone. I got the password to all his social medias. I'm running all of this. That brings me to like a side point. I think Miss Netta low-key is like a fucking narcissist. You can see that Charles is along for the ride and he speaks up where he has to, but you can tell that she is very much so orchestrating a lot of this. And when she said to the tune of, this is like this is Miss Netta and Charles, or Charles and Miss Netta, I run all the social media accounts, I'm in charge of all of this, I'm doing all of this. And she tried to backpedal and was basically like, oh, this is Charles and Miss Netta. No, you meant Miss Netta and then there's Charles. I don't know if anybody else peeped that, but her personality comes out in true colors. Leading to my next point, she tried to come out in the goddamn interview all soft and speaking proper and trying to be pleasant. And then halfway through the interview, you can actually see their personality. I think one thing that Blueface mother did real well, and Rick Ross ex-baby mama, I'm sorry, I don't know their goddamn names, was try to get the real personality out of them. Tokyo Toni was trying to keep it an even ground, trying to keep it from, I guess, escalating at points in times. But them two did a really good job of bringing her out of this trying to be dainty, knowing that she's a goddamn beast on the internet. So, beast not meaning the way she looks, beast meaning in personality. And got even Charles speaking. Charles came on there with them fake ass glasses, that faja, and that too small ass shirt and them too small ass jeans. Think this nigga was decked out. I'm trying to somebody on the internet said that this nigga was Gucci Mane in 2004. I say, yeah, that's fucking valid. Miss Netta praised black women, saying that I would never disrespect y'all. I love black women. I would never come across like that. I'm not offended. Just for the next day for her to get on live, and I'm kind of jumping here to say that she's not trying to emulate a black woman. If anything, she's trying to emulate white women because they're smarter and they know when to shut the fuck up. Crazy. We're going to jump into that later on in the video, but back to the goddamn interview. It was everything from Miss Netta's wig sliding off. It was everything from Charles cursing, not cursing, getting loud with Netta and told her to be quiet, and all three of the aunties got on his motherfucking ass. Charles is a 70s nigga in his mind. Charles speak like a motherfucking 70s nigga. He acts like a goddamn 70s nigga and dresses like he from 2004. I don't know what the fuck is going on in Alabama, but they left that nigga 20 years ago. And you can tell throughout the entire thing. Like, he's speaking like this nigga worked for the post office for 45 years, and he come home and he ready to hoop and holler at the bitch who didn't make his dinner on time, and that's Miss Netta. Miss Netta is trying to play the role of her being dainty and trying to be like subservient to her husband and letting her husband speak and this, that, and the third, knowing that that bitch be rocking his motherfucking world off the motherfucking camera. Girl, another point, they asked them, so who's the top, who's the bottom, who's taking dick, who's this, who's that? Girl, she talking about something, that's my bedroom business, and I don't want to get into that, and when you have a man, you learn how to keep that stuff private. Girl, I think Joe topping low-key. I think that's a verse situation. I don't know. I just can't imagine Charles just, let's move past that, girl. That's a crazy-ass situation. Making me nauseous. But yeah, like I said, everything from fucking her wig sliding off to Charles motherfucking yelling. They talking about his goddamn faha. Tokyo Tony shades the fuck out of them fake ass purses. All three of the aunties was like, Netta, you know them goddamn purses is fake. You got on this goddamn internet. She talking about something. I never said that the purses were real. I'm doing all of this for show. I got real bags and I got fake bags. Rich people have both and da-da-da-da-da. So I'm like, girl, no, you knew them bags. You thought that those bags were passing, and you bought them bags at the goddamn flea market, and then came on this joint and thought that we was gonna eat it up too. You thought you was gonna fucking slide past the fact that that was fake Louis Vuitton and fake motherfucking Gucci. First off, I don't understand when black people get a little bit of coin, the first two brands that we run to is Louis Vuitton and Gucci, when there's other niche brands that are way more fucking fab. You know what I mean? Like, my nose is stopped up. It's always stopped up. But I don't understand that. But let's jump back into this. Girl, jumping into the goddamn live. So I was actually a part of the goddamn live. And I didn't catch the entire thing. But basically, she was cooking lunch. Charles works in the goddamn evening. So she's saying that she makes lunch for him throughout the day. But that doesn't line up to the storyline because I heard that nigga got fired. So we all know that he got fired. So I don't understand how she was making lunch for him and he works 2 to 10. Maybe he found another job. We don't know. Maybe she's trying to keep that underneath wraps since he's been fired from the last one. So she was making basically lunch and she was on there. It was cool, calm, and collected. And then she started spazzing the fuck out. She started reading the comments, started buying into it. She wasn't even really reading the TikTok comments. She was honestly reading, I think, the Facebook Live comments. And they were eating her ass up on all three platforms. So I think she was on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. TikTok had the most views. It was like 17K in there. So despite what we say about her, bitch, we tuning in to watch every second of it because it's entertaining. And I think majority of them, probably a good 10K of them, was just on there to fucking troll because the comments were fucking crazy. Yeah, so I like I said before, earlier in the video, when she said to the tune of, I'm not trying to emulate black women. I'm actually, if anything, I want to be a white woman because they're smarter and they know when to shut the fuck up. I don't know why people were so appalled at that comment because and I don't want to generalize this, but coming from a rural southern state in a little ass town, probably sitting in that goddamn double wide, and she had a barn door in the back. I was like, kudos to you. Like, you little renovations and shit. I like that. But I couldn't expect anything else but anti-blackness, right? We always feed her fat phobia, transphobia, and a whole bunch of other things to her. So I don't know why y'all were surprised that she was going to regurgitate anything less. Like she was going to be so above what we were already giving her. We know the energy. We know if we feed her ignorance, she's going to reciprocate the same level of ignorance. Now, what she fucked up was is when she contradicted herself on that goddamn podcast or on her live. You can't love black women over here and then do some shit like that on this side. Girl, she was spitting and shit on that goddamn live. She was hooting and fucking hollering on that goddamn live. I wish I recorded it, but I was at work, so I was only enjoying it while I was on my goddamn break. But overall, like, I tell y'all, go watch the goddamn interview on Zeus Network. You'll be entertained from beginning to end. There were a lot of positives, but of course the negatives were more entertaining. That goddamn live was absolutely beside her fucking self. That is the worst I've seen her spaz the fuck out in a while. Like, I really got underneath her skin. It's ironic that I said underneath her goddamn. Got her underneath her goddamn skin. Also, fucking Charles, I found out, was peeling his goddamn face, fucked up his goddamn face during the goddamn chemical peel. Of course, this nigga riding the short bus, they told him not to do the one thing that he's going to go do. This nigga's, I mean, come on. Fucking come on. Come on, this is the same nigga that had punched the goddamn, this is the same nigga that punched the goddamn fucking barn door. Punched the goddamn barn door. And honestly, I think that came out after I had posted this goddamn, the last video on both of them. Because he now was talking about he was ready to fucking pull up on the old manager after they got into that debacle on live. Girl, this has been entertaining from beginning to end, but like Sexy Red, I believe that their time is near. It's going to come to an end. Because the level of Delulu for you to believe that you're the most famous couple in the goddamn world, honestly, it does bring in manifestations, but people are eventually going to get sick of this and move on to the next thing. Because just like Krishan Rock and fucking Blueface, where we was hyped from 2018 to 2023, baby, your 2023, probably the 2025 is where we're going to see the hiatus for you. She was also in Dallas, not Dallas, was it Dallas? In Texas at one of those venues singing that one crusty ass song again. I can say Miss Netta may have a little bit of pipe. You know, she got a little bit of a voice. She can hold a bit of a tune. If she could transition from that negative aspect to her maybe like making little love songs and focusing on cooking and shit, then, you know what I mean? It probably is a foreseeable future for her. But for right now, I definitely don't see it. But let me go ahead and wrap this up here. My allergies are kicking my fucking ass. This has been the Taj Talks. Peace.